And now on to part 2 of Miriam Jacobs' 2023 interview.
As far as the exercise component, so Stone took yoga before yoga was even popular and made it elemental. So there's different parts of our body. Like if you roll your neck, that has to do with balancing out the earth element, or Taurus neck. So any way you can get into this foundation, it works, as does tarot. So when I saw the tarot aspect of it, I just decided to add it because my clients needed to get out of their heads. You know, I was still doing the polarity aspect of let's just reframe what you're thinking or switch it around or just be able to express yourself. And then that affecting my tarot card readings because I was still kind of a closet tarot card reader. But I'd be like, you mind if I pull a couple cards for you? And New York, I had learned this elemental spread. And so it just got to be that I did the deck and I queried the deck, which is unlike most decks, which even though it is based on more Rider-Waite structure and a little bit of the Thoth deck, you know, I just didn't want to do illustrations. You know, my art background was more in manipulating photo processes and collages, so...
A lot of people approached tarot deck creation like that, especially now since a lot of it is available.
Yeah.
I need to go back a little bit because I want to really understand polarity therapy. You said something that I just have to ask a question about. The quality of your voice. Say when I'm talking to you, you can tell what energy I have or what I'm going through by just listening to the quality of my voice. I know that's one aspect of this, but like that one just stood out to me. So is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. So right now you're grounded and then you have a little bit of fire. If you're talking really rapidly and you're all over the place, it could be air, but you're grounded because your intention is to ground me. So you're coming slower, but you're also projecting your voice. So you're projecting enthusiasm and focus.
Wow.
So, and in the way then that you're connecting with me is you're pacing me, which whether you realize it or not. So even though you do this, and the same with the exercises or the same with the body work, you know, it's like riding a bike. You just get on and ride the bike. You don't think, well, the seat's adjusted and looking both ways. You just do it. That's even what happens in tarot, why it's so vast, because it's not like, well, you know, you pulled a sword card, so maybe you're thinking too much. You know, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I've given readings where all of a sudden a card meaning drops away. It's like it's this foundation that you can grow on, and then it ends up being a container for whatever I do. If I'm doing an energy body work, it's a polarity session. If I'm doing a massage, if I'm doing cranial, I am meeting the energy, just like we're meeting each other's energy right now. So it's about being in resonance. I'm just giving you some layers of this. There's so many layers to it.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to go over all of polarity therapy, but I just want to understand a little bit because that's what your deck, a lot of it is based in, so that everybody can understand why this is something they would want to use, because this is a deck that lends to a different question, a different exercise in general. So polarity therapy is also the food we eat. It's the movement of the body. Is that what you're saying? Like how I move my body? And there was a fourth one?
The verbal component.
And okay, so if I came to you as a client, what you're trying to do is get me to balance, right? So this is kind of like temperance.
Correct. Balance energy.
Yeah, if I'm talking to you and I don't know what's wrong with me, one of the first things you'd notice is my voice. And then maybe also my movement, what I'm saying, and then we'll probably talk about food. But everything is to see where I'm out of balance and where I probably need to get put back into balance. Is that the balance we're looking to achieve?
Yes and no. because I am just a facilitator, and I am facilitating you moving into balance. So it might be that some of that awareness isn't going to come until I put my hand on your neck. I either feel the tissue quality or you go, oh, wow, that's really sore. So whatever level you come up on, that's what level I'm going to address. And after you're a body worker for so long, this part is intuitive. Like my hand can go right to that part without thinking. But then there's also this structure to fall on. And that's, I think, the same thing that happens with tarot. So for me, I look at my tarot card readings as a polarity session, or maybe at this point as a Miriam polarity session. So one of my intentions in making the deck is for me and for my clients and anyone who wants to learn tarot. There's different ways into the energy. There's people who understand the symbols. There's the Kabbalistic way of going into it. So there's so many ways of going into it. If you get a tarot card reading or you get a body reading, all that really matters is two things. One, that the practitioner and client connect, and that practitioner has some sort of training.
We hope. Yes, exactly.
We hope.
The training is really important, especially with something like, well, not even important, it's essential for something like polarity therapy. But if you're going to read from your cards, your somatic deck, it probably does also help to know a little bit about it, so that you can approach the person in a way that is healing and not necessarily just critical, maybe, or just,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because I'm not going to, when I start readings like this, especially if I'm doing gigs, it's like, have you had cards read before? I am not going to tell you your future. I might point you in the right direction or give you choices. And that's how I'll go, like, ba-boom, 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 start. And just like anyone who does tarot or anyone who does body work, I can only go as deep as that person can go. Because a big thing about this is let's also teach boundaries. I'm sure if you've ever been accosted in any way in New York, if you think about it beforehand, you had some kind of not right feeling. So if I can teach people that, and also then to help them learn tarot in my way and make it their own, and how do they connect? How do they connect to the tarot? Oh, I know chakras. Well, if you get a wand card, that's your solar plexus. And elementally, it has this. And in this process, I think, as in tarot, I don't go to therapy, but I have a friend who we've been exchanging tarot card readings for like probably 12, 13 years without getting bored at every new moon and full moon. And to me, that's my therapy. And I can keep evolving, and not just in that, but in whomever I read from, that can continue to evolve as I go deeper. If I look into some sort of shamanistic or spiritual practice, that could come in. Also being aware too, aware of the conversation I'm having with someone before the bodywork session begins or before the tarot card reading begins. You go, oh, well, we were talking about your brother being sick, how beautiful it is outside, whatever it is, whatever I connect to.
Yeah. Well, it's also really nice because, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is, I wouldn't say that it's the best deck, but it was trying to be the best deck in 1909. So now everybody has gotten so involved in tarot's energy that they're able to come up with new ideas or new variances as to how to focus your energy or focus your thoughts towards the person's question or towards the person's just state of being, like with somatic energy. that it's so much easier to do that with a deck that is oriented towards that than just a deck that is a tarot deck. So I think that you creating this deck is so important for anybody who is a healer, a body worker, a Reiki master, because that's where their mind is already. The most important person is the client. So whoever comes to you, whatever question they have is the question you're here to answer. And your deck, from what I've seen, it's so great because the symbols push me to talk about something outside of the definitions of tarot. They push me to talk about the chakra system. They push me to talk about your nervous system or about astrology. And I'm not having to reach all the time. I'm not having to say, oh, I remember this was a deacon of Scorpio, or I remember that this could be put with Saturn, or you don't have to because you have so many symbols on them already. So actually, why don't we start talking about some of these symbols? Because I know there's at least the minors, there's like 4 symbols on them, right? There's an astrological symbol. The wands are the fire suit, and the pentacles are the earth suit.
I call them by the elements.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the 5 of wands is the 5 of fire. The 8 of pentacles is the 8 of earth. The 7 of cups is the 7 of water, right? So you already transformed it so that somebody can really attach themselves in an energetic way.
Sure. And this is more discussed in the tarot and the chakras book.
Thank you so much for joining me. And as always, as above, so below, blessed be.